If you are looking for high school advice, you have come to the right place. Hello friends, I'm Crystal and I just graduated from high school. I have another video more focused on academic high school advice if you're interested in that. Today, here are the topics that we will be covering. So let's start with high school expectations in general. A question that I got was, is high school like the movies? No, it is not. High school is basically like middle school, but with more work and stress. A lot of high school movies feature romance and popular kids, but high school is more about developing yourself and finding things that interest you. Romance, since when was putting two kids together with rampant hormones a good idea? Okay, I'm just kidding, but not really. Not all high school relationships are disastrous, but all relationships take time. Maybe some people think that having a boyfriend or girlfriend is worth it, but for me, I would rather use that time on something else. Because high schoolers aren't independent, they don't have a steady income, half of them can't even drive, and at the end of the day, we're all still just kids. I did have a couple crushes here and there, but whenever I thought about a relationship, I was like, no. I have enough trouble trying to find time for myself, let alone another person. I'll admit that high school sweethearts are so cute, but the likelihood of it lasting till marriage is less than 2%. So if you're going to get into a relationship in high school, just know that it's not likely to last long. Don't be too heartbroken if you break up. Take it as a learning experience, and don't let it ruin your grades or mental and or physical health. Also, don't let your girlfriend or boyfriend pressure you into doing things that you don't want to do or stop you from doing the things that you do want to do. As for popularity, it means nothing. No one is going to care after high school that you're the most popular kid there. In a job interview or college application, you're not going to tell them that one of your accomplishments was being popular. I don't think anyone would do that, but if you did, I'm judging you right now. Just keep in mind that it is better to have a couple of really strong friendships than being acquaintances with hundreds of people. Let's move on to extracurriculars. Extracurriculars include sports, clubs, volunteer work, basically anything you do that is not required to graduate. I definitely recommend joining an extracurricular that interests you because extracurriculars make high school enjoyable and memorable. When you're older, you're not going to look back at high school and be like, oh, I had such a great time studying my butt off for those tests. No. I personally joined swim, water polo, orchestra, and I also volunteered at church as a confirmation teacher assistant and a choir member, and I made a lot of friends in those groups as well as a lot of memories that I treasure. High school is a time to try new things. Not drugs though, okay? Those are so bad for you. Don't do it no matter how much pressure you get. I also got some questions about drama, bullying, and haters. I'm a pretty quiet person, so I don't have a lot of experience with drama. Also, I don't have time for it. Just don't gossip, don't spread rumors, and for the most part, drama will leave you alone. But there are some people who make it their business to mind your business. Tell them to stop, and if they don't, just try not to let it get to you. As for bullying, I have no experience with bullying. I'm sure people were bullied in my school, but I never saw bullying in action. So I can't say much about this either, except please be nice to everyone. You never know what they're going through. Haters? Oh yes, there's always going to be those people who try to pull you down or say bad things about you. For example, this year I got nominated for an award and I heard through a super nice friend. I love her so much. She said that people were saying things about me and basically talking behind my back. No one ever came and said anything directly to my face though. I was tempted to ask my friend what they were saying, but I didn't because we shouldn't care about other people's opinions or let them dictate what we do. I know none of my friends would trash talk me, so whoever it was, they don't know me outside of school, they don't know my life, and they don't know me as a person. If my friends want to say anything to me, I am definitely open to listening because they know me, I know them, and if something is wrong, hopefully we can work it out. The thing about haters is that they already formed an opinion about you and they're not going to change it. No matter how much you talk to them or change your actions, they're just going to twist it into something else. Don't waste your time on them. Don't try to achieve or accomplish less because people don't like you for it. That's their problem and not yours. One of my wise friends, Sir Jeffrey, who also has a YouTube channel called Nacho Warrior 1, also has some advice. He says that others will always try to tell you that you can't do something only because they can't. I wholeheartedly agree with this. Don't let someone's words or opinions be the reason why you don't try something that you're interested in. Trying and failing is a lot better than not trying and regretting it. Besides, there's no such thing as failure because you will always learn something out of it. So think of failure more like a lesson. Next up is balancing academics, extracurriculars, and personal life. I did not balance my high school life. For me, in the order of most important to least, it was academics, extracurriculars, and then personal life. For instance, during junior year, I was waking up at 5:25, getting to school at 6:45, and then coming back home 11 hours later at 6. Then I would eat, shower, and then do homework until 10 or 11, go to sleep, and repeat the next day. I was not getting enough sleep, sports was very taxing on my body, and the stress of trying to keep my grades up was all very overwhelming. All day, I was so tired. It got to the point where I got sick for over a month, and then I also lost my sense of smell. But that wasn't enough to convince me to go to the doctor because all of this happened during my swim league finals and state finals. So I was like, no, I'm not going to miss practice because that's going to ruin everything. Yes, it was hard to breathe, and yes, I was coughing 24/7, but I couldn't bring myself to miss swim. The thing about me is that when I do something, especially if other people are depending on me, I give it my all, even at the expense of my health, which is very bad. Like, I'm working on taking time for myself because you have to care for yourself before you have enough to give to others. Well, I'm still trying to learn, so I'm getting there. Then after my state finals, my teeth started hurting, my whole upper jaw was hurting, and I was like, okay, I think it's time for me to go to the doctor now. And so I go to the doctor and he listens to me breathe and he says, you have pneumonia. And I was like, oh. And then he looks at my nose and he's like, you also have a sinus infection. And really? But get this, I couldn't even miss school because it was AP testing season. The doctor did say that I could go to school because it wasn't infectious anymore, so don't worry, I wasn't putting anyone else at risk. It was very awkward for me while I was taking my AP exams because there was no other sound other than pencil scratches and me trying to blow my nose. When the AP instructor passed my table, he would look at my pile of tissues and give me a very weird look. Looking back, not to toot my own horn, but I kind of feel like Wonder Woman. I don't know how I survived, and I definitely do not want to do that again. Yeah, don't do this. It makes an interesting story, but it's not worth it. Expectations for senior year. Senior year by far was the hardest year for me in high school. A lot of people say that senior year is laid back and relaxing, but it wasn't. At least not for me. I took 4 AP classes, although I did switch one of my regular classes to an online one so I could go home after lunch, but it was still so much more stressful than junior year. Physically, I was fine. The worst sickness I got was the flu. I even got the flu shot that year. The doctor scammed me. But mentally, I've never been worse. Applying for colleges is so stressful, especially if you're like me and you don't really know what you want to study or major in. I also had a couple of personal events that occurred. A few weeks before school started, my dog was run over by a car and she died. Shortly afterwards, someone that I really loved and looked up to also passed away unexpectedly. And there were some other things that I don't want to talk about. In this past year, there were so many days when it was a struggle to just get out of bed. And honestly, quarantine is probably one of the better things that happened. Although I was sad that I wasn't able to finish my senior year or my last swim season, I was still really relieved when we stopped going to school. So yes, your schedule and how you handle college applications will determine how stressed you are your senior year. If you take the bare minimum and you are really prepared for applications, you'll be fine. But if you're like me and took on a packed schedule as well as some other responsibilities, it can get pretty tough. Now for regrets in high school. I don't have any regrets in high school. I did make mistakes, but I learned from them, so at least something came out of it. Sure, I was exhausted a lot of the time, but looking back, if I had to choose again, I would have chosen to do the exact same things. There are no extracurriculars that I would drop. One time I tried dropping out of water polo during my sophomore year, but I missed it so much that I rejoined it and never thought about leaving again. I met so many amazing people and made tons of memories through each of my extracurriculars, and I can't imagine not doing one of them. And here are some really great academic tips from Nan, who is a fellow high school graduate, and he covered a couple of topics that I didn't know about or include in my last video. A couple things I would like to touch upon is that A through G requirements are aimed towards universities in California. I thought it was for the entire United States, but apparently not. Also, he mentions how it is good to stay on your teacher's good side, which is very important because they are the ones who control your grades. If they like you and see that you put effort into their class, they're willing to do a bit more for you. You don't have to be the teacher's pet, just respect them and pay attention in class. That's all there is to it. Also, as Nan mentions, most of the time teachers are the ones you will ask to write letters of recommendations for you for college applications, so if they don't like you, they're not going to put much effort into making one for you. If you guys have any other questions, please leave them in the comments section and I will answer them there, or maybe make another video on high school advice. I made this video based on whatever I thought would be helpful, as well as any requests I got on Instagram. There weren't a lot of replies, so thank you if you responded. I probably missed a lot of things, so let me know if there's anything else you would like me to cover, because I've been through high school and I'm here offering you free information, so you might as well make the most of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!